Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Jim Coppinger with ZenTek Consultants, and today we're talking about field investigation and inspections with Bluebeam Revu. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into our presentation here for today. So for those of you who haven't worked with us before, we're ZenTek Consultants. We're a premier Bluebeam partner, as well as being a certified Microsoft Cloud Solutions provider. And we work primarily in the AEC industry, helping all of our clients develop and really make the most use of the software either that they need or that they already have. So we're here to help you guys with any of your technology needs, and we hope you'll keep us in mind. So for today, what we're really going to focus on is dealing with those field inspections and investigations, right? You know, the idea to be able to quickly and accurately identify problems, concerns in the field, communicate those back to the office, and to really simplify the end process for your field guys, right? There's a lot of work and a lot of time commitment that goes into dealing with inspections, and having the ability to track what's been done, when it was done, what its current status is, what's happening with it, and so on, is a real big requirement on a lot of our projects, and that's something that Bluebeam Revu can really help you guys with. So with that said, it's demo time. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to jump over to Bluebeam Revu here. Right, and we're going to start off by just real quickly kind of talking about the idea behind what our concern is. Like I said, when you're dealing with any kind of a site investigation, whether it's you're doing inspections, walkthroughs, punch lists, anytime you're out in the field, there's just a lot of data that needs to be collected, put together, and assembled, sent back to the office or out to interested parties for review and approval, etc. And that can be really time consuming, particularly on field guys who are, experts in their own construction areas, but aren't always, the folks who have spent a lot of time working on computers and having, real technical skill sets as far as computers go. So with that in mind, what we can do while we're out here in the field, right, is we can integrate and work with tablets and mobile phones and field-based laptops, right? Things like that, which is great. But you still run into that situation of, how do I get all this data, all this information that people are collecting back into the office, or sent out to other folks. So the way that we do that with Bluebeam Revu is we can actually connect through Bluebeam Studio. And I'm just logging in here real fast to show you. And the idea behind Bluebeam Studio and your field users, right, is that they can actually generate what's called a Bluebeam Studio session. And you see, I'm just opening one up real fast here, and you see I have another set of site plans. And the beauty of a Bluebeam Revu session is that while your guys are out there in the field, they're actively putting in their notes and comments and call outs and investigations and whatever it is that you have them doing out there in the field in real time. I can connect to the same file in the office, and I can see what they're calling out, what they're doing as they do it. So that, when your field guy goes in and he draws in, he says, hey, there's a problem along this pipeline, right, in that area. As soon as he draws that, this appears on my screen, whether I'm in the office, right, whether I'm sitting in the construction trailer, and maybe I've got 3 or 4 guys doing site inspection report on different areas of the site, and I'm collecting and collating, the results for the day. Or if I am across the seas in China, sitting in the office, I can get that information and I can give them feedback, and it'll appear back to them in real time. And that's, one of the real base functions of dealing with site investigation techniques through Bluebeam Studio, right, is really just giving you that ability to be able to track and follow what's going on in real time, right? Really, really powerful tool. So we do separate classes and courses on how to use Studio. There's quite a bit more to it and a lot more functionality there, but I at least want to touch base and, like I said, talk to you guys about how Bluebeam handles that office field interaction, right? So with that said, let's go in and let's actually start talking about the functionality and the things that you can do to really automate and simplify the site and field investigations for those folks who are out there in the field. So one of the first things that really can throw your entire system off when you're trying to keep track of what's going on and to be consistent in your output is, there's still a lot of folks out there who are handwriting notes, right? You got site inspectors, field investigators, construction superintendents who are out in the field looking at things, watching, and they have to fill out daily reports and site visit reports, and they're handwriting those, right? And they handwrite them, and they're getting rained on, and they're smeared, and they're ripped, and they're torn, and they get shoved into their pickup truck and dropped behind seats and never turned in. It becomes a big communications nightmare. And if you're lucky, they'll remember to type some of this stuff. Hopefully have at least a static PDF form that they can fill out, so at least you're getting the information you want. And then if you're lucky, they'll remember to email that back to the office, in a day or two, right? And that's where most of us reside. That's the world that most of us are dealing with. But with Bluebeam Revu, what you can do is you can really optimize that by predefining tools and sets, so that for them out in the field, you can actively go in, for example, here and say, take this silt fence, right? So I've got a note here, a little note, standard call out here for silt fence, right? So if I've got an issue going on out here with silt fence, and I'm just going to go ahead and drop that note on there, and you see it's just kind of an example note. I'm going to say, hey, there's a problem with the silt fence right over there. And what's great about this is that I can actually go in and I can modify either by double clicking on here, right? Or I can just come in here and I can type a note and say, silt fence is down, repair this, right? Whatever the note or comment that I need to put in, please excuse my bad typing. All right, so you see they can take and modify that, right? Throw the note in, it's consistent, it's being sorted and filtered. And one of the other things that I want to show you guys, which is a really powerful aspect, you'll notice that I got a whole bunch of different colored items going on here on my screen. Right? And this is one of the things that you can really make a lot of difference for your people when they're out in the field. This is the idea of defining spaces. Right? And spaces work in both floor plan conditions and site plan conditions, doesn't really matter. The idea here being is that one of the things that's really a problem with this, right, is it says, okay, the silt fence is down. Well, I've got a 300-acre site. Where is the silt fence down? Right, so then people have to start writing out all kinds of descriptions. Okay, it's going to be if you go out onto the plan and maybe you go to lot number 8, which is on this block and this time. There's a lot of information I have to write out, and it adds up over the course of days and weeks across the life cycle of a project. Well, the beauty of Bluebeam is you'll notice here, if you look here under the space column where I put that note, the moment I put that note, because I've already predefined all my lots, all my blocks, my roadways, right? It's showing me exactly where that issue is. It's telling me it's on block 21.5, lot 8. Right? And what's great about these notes and these predefined setups, if you set Bluebeam up correctly, is that as that note is moved, if I say, well, that was the wrong place, it was actually over here, I would kind of got turned around a little bit. I just move that leader over, and now you see it's telling me, nope, it's on block 21.5, lot 6. Right? Or if I wanted to go ahead and move the note and say, oh, I was on the completely wrong block. Right? I actually need to take this entire thing and move the note all the way down to here and bring the leader all the way down to that lot. And you see it's switching me to a different block, lot 17, right? Come all the way over here. Now I'm on block 21.8, right? Here I'm on block 21.6, lot 37. It updates in real time, and I can move those notes to wherever I need them, right? So it's a real great, very simple way to be able to work and modify those. Right? To kind of go along with that concept of placing space, you can take it to the next level. You'll see that here I've got a roadway done in, and I've got a couple of station sections kind of laid out, this green area, right, which gives me another way to start to really locate and identify what I've been investigating while I was out in the field. So you see, for example, here I've got a predefined symbol, right, that says, hey, pipe construction issue. I can just go in and I can just drop it in and say, hey, there's a pipe construction issue right there. Okay. Well, that's nice, but if the great thing about this, right, is that I'm dropping this pipe construction issue, I'm putting this little symbol in place, so you can see it's an exclamation point, so it's readily visible, right? So it's going to pop up on everybody's screen. But what's really nice about it, you see that I've already got a note, right? It's a standard note on pipe joints are not tight or sealed, they're not online, right? I can create as many of these as I want, right? Cracked pipe, broken bell, inverts are off. I can have standard notes for every one of these, or I can just let my guys, overtype kind of a standard note, right? And they can come in at any point and add whatever they need right here, right? But what's also really nice about this, if you notice down here under the space section, you notice it's telling me that that pipe issue is on Jordan Court between station 800 and 900. right? So I can easily identify where in the field this issue really was. So when I come into the document, right, I can just go right down here and say, okay, this is a problem, pipe joints between 8 and 900. So number one, when I click on it here in my list, I can see where it is. But even if I don't, I can just look and say, hey, Jordan Court 800 and 900. Here's Jordan Court, and just follow my way down. Oh, okay, oh, here it is, right in here. All right, so you see I can just kind of break things down by stationing in order to find what I'm looking for and where it all goes. Now, one of the other things that's really nice about dealing with Bluebeam for these site investigation types of work is you'll notice that it has this little lightning bolt icon attached to it. What I've done with this symbol is I've pre-attached a standard report form. Right? It's one thing, we take notes, we take a lot of notes, but one of the things that we do have to do on a regular basis is actually fill out item by item forms, whether it's for submittal to the state or OSHA or even just tracking. Okay. And what's really nice about that is that, I can embed right into that symbol that I brought in. I can just come here and I have that link. And when I click on it, you see it will actually just open for me a standardized report form so that right there in the field, they can just place, the issue where it is on the plan, click on the button, it opens up the inspection report and they can actually just go ahead. Right? And again, you can build these types of forms with Bluebeam Revu, dynamic forms, so they can just start filling out all the information that you need to track in detail about that specific issue, right? Which is immensely powerful. It's a great way to be able to work. Okay, so that's a really, really important way to be able to save a lot of time. And the same concept is going to work over on whether you're doing. I know I've been showing you kind of site work. But it works just as well when you're inside of a building, right? You're inside of any kind of a structure. You see that here I've got the same kind of setup, right? I've got standard areas laid out, spaces labeled for some of my generic type of work, right? So I can go in and I can say, hey, you know what? I've got this, I have a framing issue. I have a standard note calling out framing issues, right? And I'm just going to bring that framing issue in here. I'm just going to drop that kind of that random note, right? And then I'm going to bring it in. I'm going to put the note into the room where there's an issue. Right? And then, like I said, I can easily, double click to edit, right? So if I want to come in here and say, hey, framing problem using 2x4, not 2x6, okay? So just like that, I can add notes, right? I can, call out whatever issues that I need to. Now, here's the really, really nice thing about Bluebeam Revu. So again, to begin with, it tells me, right? See, that's in the first floor security office, right? And if I were to go ahead and move that leader up to here, it'll tell me, hey, that framing issue is on the first floor vestibule. All right, again, I could move the note or point the leader down here and say, hey, I've got a framing issue in the first floor women's room, right? Or over here into, right, first floor stairwell number 2. Right, you see, it takes it all into account. Now, the other thing that's really, really important to be able to do when you're dealing with any kind of a site investigation or inspection is you need to provide photos. Right, so the greatest visualization tool in the world is photography, right? So in order to be able to come in here and add photos, right? Normally what happens, people take photos, they're on their phone, they put them as email attachments, they get lost, they don't get saved, they're huge, right? Or even people who are somewhat used to Bluebeam, I see all the time, will at least come in and they know they can kind of input images out here into blank white space, but it gets to be very sloppy and hard to coordinate and track. Instead, what you can do here with a simple note like this, right, is I can easily go in and just right click on it, and I can just go ahead and I can capture images either from my phone or from file. In this case, since I'm working on a desktop today, I'll do it from file and say, hey, here's the north wall picture, right? And you see I attach that, and you see just like that hyperlink that I had in the site plan, I get this little camera icon, right? So now no matter where I move the note or where it goes, the image is attached directly to this call out. And just like that, I can just click on it, right? And it shows me, hey, here's the framing. This is the north wall of that room. So I can see exactly what's going on, right? And I just hit escape to close that. And that's great, but you can go a step beyond that, right? Because now I can come back and I can just go in, right? And I showed you a single image, but what happens when you've got not just the north wall, right? But you're showing the entire room. And you see I've got the north wall, but I've also got the east wall, right? And the west wall and the south wall. I can just go ahead and open all of those. You see, it just keeps it as that same single attached link. And just like that, I can just double click on these. And now you see it's a slideshow. I can work my way. Here's the south wall. Here's the framing, right? Here's the west wall. Here's my framing. right? And here's the east wall. I've covered the entire room, including what the call out, what the problem is, all right? And I can also link these just the way that I did on the other plan, right? To, standard report forms. If I need to open up a standard report submittal form, fill it out, whatever the issue is there, right? No concerns, right? It's a great way to be able to go in and very easily attach all the imagery that you need to these as well, right? So it's a great way to work, right? And again, keeping track of it in all of our spaces, right? Now, the other type of thing that you can do, right, is you can actually get into kind of automating reporting and serious conditions. So you see up here, I've got a standard symbol for an OSHA violation. And you see that it has an attached comment, to tell people stop work immediately. We got a big problem going on here, right? So I can easily just have the guy come up and just grab from that symbol set. And on a tablet, he can do this with his finger and just go, hey, right here, boom, giant red /X, that's the symbol we chose to use. And you'll see that right here under the comments, see what it says? Stop work immediately. And you'll see that it also has an embedded hyperlink right here already in place, ready to use. So what does that one do? Well, like I said, there's a whole bunch that you can do. You can link to pretty much anything you want. But in this case, what I've done, right, and this is just a symbol and I can use it as many times as I want. When I click on that, you see what happens is it launches, right, the OSHA online complaint form. Right? Or you can go to your website, to an intranet, to any kind of a formal reporting system. It'll open any web page, any URL that you choose to put in there. Right? So you see here, I can go in and I can actually put in whatever the particular complaint is, send it directly into OSHA, all right, or any other kind of government or agency reporting that I have to handle as part of my site inspections. Right? Or like I said, if you don't need to go to the government, you can just direct these links to your internal company intranet. And just like everything else, you see that not only does it, drop in the symbol and the link, but it also identifies where that is. So if that symbol goes in, I go, oh, wait, that was in the wrong stairwell. It was actually this stairwell. See, that was in 1. Now I'm in stairwell 2, right? Go ahead and move this over to here. Now I'm in stairwell 3. Right? So you can keep track of all of your comments, everything that you have going on very, very quickly, very, very easily. Now, the other aspect to really start to make your field inspectors' lives a lot easier, all right, is the concept of working with custom columns. So you kind of see down here, we're working with columns, right? Where things are, what type of object it is, okay? Right, so I can go in and I can sort things by, what type. Here are the framing issues, here are the OSHA violations. So you see, you got to break it down, right? And as I have multiples, it'll show under those groupings. So it's giving me all the notes, the actual notes that your inspectors put in for each of these. It's telling me exactly where they are in the real world, right? Whether it's on a floor plan or over here, right? It tells me exactly where those items are in the real world. Now I can get into the idea of actively setting and creating my own custom columns to start keeping track of what's really going on here. So you see, I can build custom columns for things like identifying a generic problem. So here I'm saying, okay, pipe joints, right? Right. So what am I saying here? Is that an ineffective issue? Are you missing something? Is this an area that needs maintenance? Right? Maybe there's no issue at all. This is good. Right? Maybe something is substantially damaged. So, in terms of going up, let's go back to where did I put that original? Here it is. That silt fence is down, repair this. Right? That's the kind of thing I might want to sort that into a category, say, hey, okay, this just needs general maintenance. Right? And I may have 10 or 15 things that need general maintenance. And then I can actively come over here and I'm just going to grab another one over here. I'm going to say this as well, just needs general maintenance, even though I don't think that really makes sense with the pipe joints, but you get the idea. But now I can actively go in as I'm dropping in different issues. I'm just throwing a few in here, right? And I can actually go in and drop multiples if I need to, right? Just by going and saying, hey, I need one here and there's the same problem here and another problem over there. So as I do these, now I can go to each one of these and you say I can start, hey, this one's missing, right? And hey, this one, that's substantially damaged, right? And now I can just sort. You say I can actually sort and break it down by, hey, which ones are missing? Here's the missing one. And I can actually zoom to it and it shows it and highlights it for me right on the document, right? So if I'm in here and I click on it, see, it takes me right over to it, right? Then I can go down here and say, okay, which ones are in need of maintenance? Okay, this one, right, which is on block 21, lot 637, I need maintenance, right? And then this one over here, you see it's jumping me across on the plan. And that's really, really nice. So this way I can, kind of rate things, put them in, different categories, let the people who are responsible for those concerns know, right? I can also start to build simple yes, no check boxes, right? Common thing when you're doing site inspections is just as simple as, is the work acceptable or has the work been rejected, right? And this can be, customized to whatever you need. So I can easily come in here and say, hey, you know what? This is being rejected. This is acceptable, right here. And this is acceptable right here. So I'm already starting to keep track of what's good, what's not, right? As part of this, the other thing that I can do is I can build custom statuses. Not only can I add just general notes, we can actively start to track what's going on with every one of these items, right? And simple drop down, right? So here I can do, for example, I can set a status and say, hey, this construction, right? That's a silt fence repair, but let's go in here. Let's go back to our original, pipe joints, right? They're doing the pipe inspection, and this item, right? They're on schedule, right? And you see it sets who set that date and time, so it's keeping track of when I set and said that, right? And I can actually go in, right, the next day and say, hey, it's been delayed, right? So there you go. So now see, it's keeping track of every status I set every single day. So there's a permanent record of what's happened on every single day, right? Once I move past it, I'm into overdue, right? Setting date and time. And I can set different statuses for every single one of these items throughout the entire project, right? And then I can actually go in and I can sort by those. So I can see which ones are delayed, which ones are on schedule, which ones are overdue, right? As far as my site inspections and keeping track of what's going on. So there's just a ton of stuff that I can do there in order to keep, everything flowing, all this information. And remember, all of this data as I'm working this is being passed or can be set up and structured in Bluebeam Studio to pass back to the office or anybody else anywhere in the world in real time, which is really, really important. And I can build custom columns down here that will track and sort any additional type of information that's specific to your company or your type of work right here inside of Bluebeam Revu, right? And then when it's all said and done, I can actively go in and I can just go ahead and generate a report. I can actually go in and generate a report saying, this is my, whatever today says, I don't know. But anyway, we'll just say this is our inspection summary. Okay, so just go ahead and set my inspection summary, and I'm going to set it for a portrait view just to keep it simple. I'm going to append it to the end of this. Right, and you see, just like that, it actually goes ahead and it puts in for me. Right, sorry, I'm on the wrong thumbnail. It puts a new page in here. Right, and you see that I get a summary report of every single problem. So here's my inspection summary. Right now it's sorting it because I'm sorting it by the status, so it's showing me all the delayed ones, right? What is the problem? Where is it? What's the problem? Was it acceptable? Was it rejected? What's its status? Right? It gives all of the information that I've assembled down here into a simple summary report that not only gives you a report with these images and links as to where these items are, right? It also lets me go in, right, and I can click on any one of these and it'll take me right back to that specific location, right? You'll even notice as I change statuses, which I didn't mention before, actually I'll have these statuses set to change colors so that visually you can see, yellow, red, green, stop, go, right? You can do so much with these, right? So that's what you can do, right? And one of the things that, like I said, these custom columns and these custom structures and building the intelligence that you want your field staff to have for this type of work, if you're not comfortable with it, you don't know how to do it, it's not an area you've really ever worked with before, but you like the idea, right? That's something that we here at ZenTek Consultants do with our clients quite a lot. We do a lot of customization of the Bluebeam Revu, both the tool sets over here to build custom symbols and features and structures for you, and all the custom columns and support to go along with them. We can also help you guys work on putting them together into a standard profile and hosting them in one central location so that everybody in your company has the same set of tools and options available. So that's how you can use Bluebeam Revu in conjunction with site investigation work. Right? So with that said, we're going to wrap it up here. Right? And I want to thank you guys for spending the day with us. And like I said, if there's anything we can do for you in terms of whether it's getting you some Bluebeam seats or getting some new seats, or if you guys are interested in really developing your own set of site inspections and field inspection tools, we're here and able to help. You can just reach out to sales at ZenTek Consultants, ZenTekConsultants.net, excuse me, and we'll be happy to help you guys out in any way that we can. With that said, I want to thank you guys for spending the time today, and I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Bye-bye.